What if I told you that this one trend that almost no one talks about might be responsible for destruction of so many e-commerce businesses in 2021? Would you like to know about it? I definitely would. So in this video, I'm gonna give you not one, but two trends that combined together and symptomatic of a broader law of marketing might be responsible for destruction of many e-commerce businesses this year. And I'm also gonna give you 5 strategies on how you can get your business ready, make your business future-proof, and effectively those 5 strategies can act as your 2021 e-commerce survival kit. So stay tuned. So if you enjoyed this and other videos, consider liking the button below to send YouTube some awesome signals that this video is in fact worth watching. And let's spread the love. If I'm gonna get more views, I'm gonna get more videos and awesome content for you guys. Also, join our Facebook group, E-commerce Scaling Strategies by Sales Genomics. We've got over 1,000 entrepreneurs sharing daily tips on e-commerce growth and how to scale your business beyond 7 figures. So hi again, this is Matt, the co-founder of Sales Genomics, one of the fastest growing e-commerce growth hacking agencies, and let's dive into 2021 e-commerce survival toolkit. It's 2020, pandemic hits, and all of a sudden everyone is moving online. The big brands cut their advertising budgets, they're getting ready for massive losses, and that's when the space opens up. The CPMs are at a record low, and loads of the brands are achieving unprecedented profits at scale in that time. And this is in fact the time when we managed to take our one product store business from 0 to $1.6 million in just 2 months, and you can see the full case study breakdown right here. It was a great time, we're scaling like crazy. All the brands that we work with are achieving extraordinary results. And then, a few months later, and I call this first phase the doom of offline, right, where a lot of the offline brands kind of went down, or at least were ready to go down, and the online space has also opened up for e-commerce advertisers to reap the benefits. But then came the online exodus when all the big brands caught up and CPMs skyrocketed again, and most of the businesses that kind of took advantage of this very advantageous space of low CPMs had to close down their shops or massively descale. And that's in fact the moment when we decided to decrease the brand and shut down the main advertising channels because it was too much competition. It wasn't worth it to continue at that scale with this logistical complexity. And this is in fact when I had this aha moment and I realized existence of this immutable law of marketing that I call the law of ad platform lifecycle. This particular situation on Facebook and the other ad platforms during the time of the pandemic in fact was exactly the same as what's happening when new platforms come on board. So the law of ad platform lifecycle goes like this. Step 1, the new ad platform is getting created. Some people talk about it, not many jump on board yet because the scale and the majority, the 80-20 is still in the previous platform. So before Facebook, it might have been TV ads, right? Everyone is still, okay, this is my safe space, this is where majority of my profits are coming from. It's too much of a hassle to test those small advertising platforms. So the new platforms have very low CPMs. The first movers are reaping the advantage of that. You can pretty much advertise anything. The CPMs are so low that regardless of your average order value, regardless of your profitability, you can get very high return on the ad spend because number 1, the CPMs are low, there's very low competition. Number 2, the ad blind is significantly decreased. So the ads are still new to the customers. They're not yet immune to the messages of advertising. Pretty much any offer that you're running is gonna be profitable on the new platform. Step number 2, the great caught up, right? When the rest catches up, the rest of the advertisers are starting to jump on board. Slowly the competition in the auctions rises, the CPMs increase, and all of a sudden only the businesses that are able to spend the most to acquire the customers are able to stay on that platform. So it comes back to the fact that your lifetime profit per customer needs to be greater than your cost of acquiring this customer, because otherwise you're effectively losing money on every acquisition. For this reason, most e-commerce brands cannot really advertise on LinkedIn because the CPMs are so high and the cost per click are so high that only the software as a service companies selling, multiple $1,000 packages are able to profit with this kind of CPM environment. So what does the law of ad platform lifecycle have to do with 2021 and your business survival? So let's take a look at the data. According to Forbes and RevealBot's research in 2020, and you're gonna find the sources in the description of this video, in 2020 the e-commerce market expanded by 30%. 30% growth is massive. It's just insane. As far as when the pandemic was starting out, the CPMs were still low, there was space to absorb all this competition. Then when all the big brands restarted their advertising budgets and kind of adapted to the e-commerce environment, basically what happened is the competition effectively grew by 30%. In fact, fact, the CPMs on average on Facebook increased by 50% in that time, and this mostly correlated with the increase in the cost per acquisition as well, that grew almost by 50% as well. Now, this effectively means it costs you 50% more than it did in 2019 to acquire a customer on average. This suggests that in 2021 this trend is only going to accelerate, which means that it's becoming more important than ever to make your business future-proof. And here are the 5 strategies that we are using with our own brands, with our clients' brands, to accelerate their growth despite the growing CPMs and despite the increasing competition. And here's your 2021 survival kit. Strategy number 1: dominate a new acquisition channels where your competitors are weak. Most of the big players are still only focused on Facebook and Google, maybe influencer marketing. But in fact, for them, it's big effort to focus on a new advertising channel that is still a little bit unproven. Maybe there's less volume to be extracted out of it, and this is your opportunity. Why not build a brand that's built around influencer marketing more heavily, that's built around TikTok and influencers on TikTok? How about native advertising? How about Snapchat that is still growing? How about YouTube ads that very few people still understand? The new platforms are the blue ocean of opportunities with low CPMs, low ad blindness, very few big competitors who understand the game. This means that there are very few playbooks to tell you how exactly to run your Snapchat ads or your TikTok ads, but this is exactly what you need. This is leveling the play field. There are no other guys with the insider knowledge. Everyone is testing from scratch. Everyone is starting from ground zero. So your chances are in fact greater. So jump in, test it out, make sure that your new channels get enough attention. It's very important to split the attention between your main channel and the side channel. So you might want to put a new person to focus just on this thing so that they don't need to divide their attention between the big channel. That in the short term, it makes the most sense to focus most attention on this. But in the long term, this is going to expose your business to more systemic risk and potentially, if the CPMs continue to rising on Facebook, make you unable to profitably advertise at scale. I strongly believe that people who are going to be early adopters on the new platforms are going to make the new line of e-commerce royalty. In fact, we're testing the new platforms like crazy right now, and some of our brands are already getting up to 50% of their conversions from Snapchat ads, for example. In fact, using a combination of Snapchat and Facebook ads, we managed to grow this viral dessert brand company in the UK to $1 million in 2020. Strategy number 2: expand your market or carve out your own niche by educating unaware customers. So let me tell you what I mean here. Facebook needs some data points to establish whether a person is interested in a particular topic. If somebody has never given Facebook signals that they're going to be the converter in this niche, then it's going to be very difficult for Facebook to find those people out for you. In addition to this, certain people are never going to respond to the advertising in a style that people are running on social media. Some people respond more to logic. Some people need to be met at their level of awareness. If you've read the book, The Breakthrough Advertising, Eugene Schwartz mentions the concept of stages of awareness. That is, I believe, fundamental when it comes to planning your strategy. So check out this book for sure. The basic concept here is that in order to convince someone of making any kind of transformation or purchase decision, you need to first meet them on their level of awareness. You need to level up with them, and then you meet them where they are, and then you create a bridge to the particular belief that you need this person to acquire in order to understand that they need to purchase your product. And so most of the people on Facebook, they're running ads that are very oriented, they're very product oriented. They're hitting the audience that is either aware or that is almost aware, or they're hitting them only with products that are kind of super easy to understand using just a simple video ad. But in addition to this group of people, there's also in every market a huge pool of people who have never heard of this product category before. You might want to educate them in order to basically become the first person that has ever introduced this product to them, and you're going to become the only option that they can consider. And a perfect tool for this kind of customer acquisition is advertorials. What are advertorials? Those are long-form blog post style sales pages that through a very lengthy piece of content, they do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of the selling. They build up all the underlying beliefs that are necessary for a customer to understand the benefits of your product. They increase the perceived value of the product, preempt objections, debunk them, present social proof, and ultimately make the conversion to a sale. So this is effectively sales pages disguised as content. And so there are two main ways to use the advertorial strategy. So the benefit of advertorials are, number one, increased conversion rates. Number two, being able to scale beyond the market that is already educated or on the issue, and faster than this market is normally getting educated by the external sources, right? So you can effectively become the master of your own market and be able to increase the size of your own pie instead of competing over a piece of pie from the existing size of the pie. In fact, we managed to use the advertorials in combination with Facebook ads to reposition a brand that was a very well-established foam roller producer. Using the advertorial strategy, we also managed in 2020 to break through a very, very competitive market, a market at which most of the people say there's no space, a product that has virtually very little unique selling propositions. By implementing a new advertorial strategy, we're able to carve out a new niche, and in just 2 months we were able to scale our own back pain device brand from $0 to $120,000 per month. As a side note, advertorials are not only useful on Facebook. In fact, you can use them on many advertising channels that are broader than Facebook, right? On Facebook, you might be limited if your product is too niche. You might be limited by your interest targeting options and lookalikes and things like that. If you carefully think about that, what's the broader need or desire that my product is fulfilling, right? In this case, we switched from the offering for improving regeneration for sports people to a back pain solution for a broader group of people, right? So this is a desire that a lot of people have, and because of that, we not only were able to tap into the broad targeting options on Facebook, but we were also to switch to other advertising channels such as Taboola, where the targeting options are less flexible, but at the same time you can reach a way broader group of people. Strategy number 3, expand to countries with less competition. And this is your opportunity. Your competitors are focusing all their attention on the main markets while neglecting the small markets where you can enter, you can dominate those markets, move on and continue, and all the accumulated profits you can later reinvest into being able to compete on this main market with your competitors. The barriers to entry will play in your favor. Language barriers, logistical barriers, not understanding the local customs, it's something that you can exploit to set your foot in a particular country or region, and then using the profits that you've made from that, invest into expansion strategy for the main market. There are many methods of international expansion. In fact, we use aggressive international expansion to scale this personalized jewelry brand to $3.8 million in 2020. You can watch the full case study breakdown about it here. Strategy number 4, nail the creative game to increase your click-through rates. If the CPMs are increasing, if you want to continue to get the same cost of click, you need to get way better at getting people's attention and getting them to click through your ads. Creative is the name of the game here, and video is the name of the game here. I strongly believe that video in 2020 and the years moving forward is going to play continuously more important role. Here's another opportunity. Video is much harder to do right, especially in more competitive markets. If you specialize in making very high captivating, shocking, attention grabbing, action compelling videos for the social media, then you're gonna be ahead of the game of most people. So grab attention with a great hook, connect with people, educate them, put a ton of social proof within the videos, and compel people to take action. Also, getting a few videos right is not really where the game is. You need to also get better at conceptualizing and generating diverse ideas and organizing the testing of them so that over time you can learn how to develop creatives that are gonna get better and better over time. So for example, if you get good at understanding, okay, this ad is targeting what pain point, how do my few ads targeting this pain point compare against those other few ads that target a different pain point, and therefore you're learning more about the dominant pain points of your audience, and over time you're going to be able to produce better content that is more tailored to your customers than your competitors do. And trust me, very few people really understand how to do this right, and there are actually 3 steps to this process. So number 1 is naming convention, right? So you get to align your creative team and your media buying team to really get clear on what kind of dimensions they want to analyze the creatives around. So number 1 could be avatars, number 2 could be pain points, number 3 could be desires, number 4 could be the length of the video, number 5 could be the style style, whatever naming convention you want to use here. So be it a testimonial, be it a BuzzFeed style, be it any other style you want to test out. And then when you put this naming convention in your ads, over time you can, using experts and things like Google Sheets, you can analyze, for example, how different angles perform against each other using pivot tables. This topic is quite complicated, in fact, but if you get good at the analysis of your creatives at the meta level, over time you're going to see that your creative guys are not just going to be kind of starting from scratch every time they produce a new batch, but actually their understanding is going to keep evolving, and as a result your return on the ad spend on your creatives is going to grow. And strategy number 5, increase your lifetime value and decrease price sensitivity through consistent branding efforts. And this is a topic that a lot of people don't understand. Of course, the first part of it, the increasing lifetime value, is fairly understandable, right? So the simplest way to increase your lifetime value are by launching new products, launching limited edition products, increasing your upsell value, testing out upsells, cross-sells, different strategies around those. But also a topic that many people neglect is pricing. How is it possible that so many brands are able to charge way more than their competitors do and get away with it? Normally, when you're trying to increase your price, there's gonna be some conversion rate drop, and effectively, you know, the amount by which your average order value increases has to be greater than the amount by which your conversion rate drops, or effectively you're going to be losing money. So here's the tricky part. If you build your brand, if you create such a strong emotional desire for people to buy, as you increase your price, your conversion rates are not going to drop as much. And that's why branding is important. So how do you decrease your price sensitivity? By building a brand? Of course. How do you build a brand? This topic is huge and huge and huge, but a couple of notes to consider here is, number 1, branding consistency and really creating this premium feeling throughout the funnel. As you'll find that as your brand grows and as you're implementing new things into your website, all of a sudden your website might start to look a little bit like a Frankenstein's monster. So every now and then, you know, polishing it and making sure that all the pieces fit together well, the color schemes are consistent, and things like that. Also, introducing a lot of social proof and showing people that your brand is also valued by other customers. So generating loads of user-generated content reviews and things like that. And in fact, you can learn a lot how this brand that we worked with has managed to scale to 3.8 million by generating a ton of social proof through a reimbursement program. Check out this video here. In addition to social proof, another tactics you can use to decrease price sensitivity is working with high-profile influencers and demonstrating that you did through your social media and on your website. If you see that your brand is backed by social proof from other regular people, from influencers, from authorities, from media mentions, like all these kinds of social proof influence different types of people and are ultimately gonna mean that people are gonna be more willing to pay premium price for your product. So this is it. With those 5 strategies, you should be able to make your business future-proof, and despite the rise of the CPMs, you should be able to thrive and even continue scaling your business in 2021. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click the like button below and subscribe to our channel. Also join our Facebook group, E-commerce Scaling Strategies by Sales Genomics. We have over 1,000 entrepreneurs sharing daily tips on e-commerce growth and scaling beyond 7 figures. It's pretty awesome. And I also want to know, how are you guys getting ready for 2021? What strategies are you employing? And also, what feedback do you have from testing any of the strategies that I've outlined in this video? Let me know in the comments. Cheers.